Now in this video I'm going to show you how you can learn and drill those concepts we learned in the last video so that they really stick. Therefore we are going to create a new scene, use the type node as the root node and just call it whatever, practice or whatever you want. Attach a script to it and just save it. It doesn't matter if we create a folder or something like this. We just want to practice in this project right here. For the first drill, you're going to write a little comment on top, just as a reminder. We have double equal, not equal, we have less than, greater than, then we have less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. Let's type the func ready, just to print something out. Let's check this. Hello. Yes, it is working. We get output and that's all we need for this one. We are going to use the print statement to print answers of Boolean expressions we are going to write. For this first drill, we are going through this list. And the move is we want this question or this expression with double equal sign, so equal to be printed out as true and false. So let's start with true. And you want to manipulate it so that your expression evaluates to true. So for example, 10 equals 10 should be true, right? Because the answer to this question is yes, 10 is equal to 10. So therefore we should get true. Let's check this. Perfect. And now we want the answer to this question, to this Boolean expression here, to be false. We could change one of those values or both. We could say 1 and let's say this number. So 1 is not equal to this number. They are not equal. Therefore, this should be evaluated to false. Let's check this. And indeed, it is false. So the answer to this question is false. And now you are going to do it for all the other ones too. You want your question to evaluate to true and then to evaluate to false. And for those two here, those are two special cases. There are two ways to make it true and one way to make it false. Let's check them out. For less than or equal to, we can leave it like this because this will be true because 1 is less than this number. Let's check it. Okay, perfect. And now we want to evaluate it to false. How could we do this? We need a bigger number on the left than on the right. Okay, now it evaluates to false. And there is one case we can put in here to make it true as well. We could make them equal. So 25 is less than, no it is not, but it is equal to 25. So therefore it should evaluate to true. And it is. And it's the same for this one. So you basically go through this list and try to evaluate them to true and false. This is the first drill. Now for the second drill, we are going to include not. So not, as a reminder, if you type not true, it will evaluate to false. And if you type not false, it will evaluate to true. So we just implement not in our little Boolean expression now. You just type not and go through the list again. I show it with equal to, so 10 equal 10. But the challenge is to make it first true and then false. Now we want this to evaluate to true. In order to make this happen, we need to make this part here evaluate to false. So we need to make it like this because does 1 equal 10? No, it is not. So therefore, this should be false. And after that, we invert the answer with not. So the answer should be true. Let's check this out. Yes, it is. And now the other way around, we want this to evaluate to false. So now we have to make this expression here evaluate to true. And we can do it by just typing the same number because 10 is equal to 10. And then we are going to invert the answer of this question to be false. Let's check this out. It is working. And for this second drill, you do it the same way. You go through this list and try to make them to evaluate to true and then to false. But this time you include the not keyword. Now for the next drill, we are going to prepare a little reminder right here. We are going to practice the and keyword. So let's check this out. We are going to write expressions that follow this pattern. We are going to make both of them true. We are going to write print, pick two of those. So for example, I'm going to pick the double equal sign for the left side. Let's make it like this. I connect them with something using this one. So the first challenge is to make it true and true. So this one already working because the answer to this question is true. And this one also working because this is less than or equal to 20. Perfect. So it should evaluate to true. Let's check this out. Yes. Now you want to make this case happen, true and false. So we need to make the right side to evaluate to false. Therefore, we just need to increase this number right here and make it bigger than the right side. Now this evaluates to false, and therefore we should have this case. True and false should evaluate to false. Yes, it is. And this is how you are going to go through this list. You start here, pick just random operators from above, and go through the list. For the next drill, we are going to introduce OR, and we are going to write a little reminder on top as well. And now we are going to basically repeat the last exercise and just do it with OR. We go through the list, match this case. So we need true or true. And now this time I'm going to use this one for the first. And let's say I pick this one, or let's pick this one greater than for the second. And now we need to go through it. So true or true. Okay, both need to be true. So this needs to be true. In order to make the answer to this question true, we need to change a value, for example like this. Because is 1 not equal to 10? Yes, it is. So this will evaluate to true. And for this side, it already is working because is 30 greater than 20? Yes, it is. So we should have true or true, and it should evaluate to true. Okay, nice. But you also can practice is the following. You can chain end statements. You can put another one, something like this. And then you can go through the list again and just make it a little bit more complex. And now in the next one, we are going to combine the and or, and we are going to add not into the mix as well. I just type a little reminder for this. Not comes before and comes before or. So this is the order of evaluation when we mix and match all of those operators. For example, you could practice it like this. In order to solve this, we need to be aware of the order of execution here. We start with not. Let's check this out. 10 equals 20. No, this is false. But because we have a not, this will evaluate to true. Then we will solve the AND operator. Is 10 greater than 10? No, it is not. So false. And true is false. So this part is false. And is 3 not equal to 0? Yes, it is. So this is true. False or true will evaluate to false, or true will evaluate to true. So this expression right here should evaluate to true. Let's check if we are right. Yes, we are right. We did it right. And because we want to make the order clear, we are going to use brackets. Put brackets around the AND statement right here. And to make it even more clear, we do brackets around the not part here. If we read this, we can just follow the brackets and see, okay, it starts with the not, and then we go with the AND part, and we go with this part, and then the OR is solved as the last step. And for this one, basically just challenge yourself and put combinations of AND, OR, and not, and then try to make the order of execution clear by putting brackets around. And be aware that you can change the order of execution here by placing the brackets in a different way. So you could do it like this, for example. So in this case, we force this operation to first solve the OR part and then solve the AND part. Add this to the mix as well. Try to check if you can manipulate the answer of this Boolean expression to be something else when you put brackets around the OR, for example, or yeah, just play around with this and get creative and try stuff out on your own. So the important part is you can change the order of evaluation by using brackets, and you should use brackets to make the default order of evaluation, not before AND, before OR, more clear to yourself and to everyone who reads your code. If you did all of this, played around with it and practiced it, then you can challenge yourself even more by adding two variables, for example, A and B. And now you basically go through all the exercises again and just use variables instead of numbers. Replace them with variables. Or you could add math expressions on top of it. So you could use math expressions, something like this, and try to figure out what's going on now. Because math expressions even come before not and or. So always do math first and then evaluate this expression. So there is really a lot you can learn in this exercise, and I just wanted to show you ways you could drill yourself to really do something. Because when I learned programming, I just drilled this into my brain by using something like this. Just little challenges, and I see it as it's basically like a little mini game for me. So you should really try and challenge yourself and really type all of this out and think about it and wrap your head around it, because this is the only way you really learn. You have to type this and try to figure out what's going on. So yeah, see ya in the next one.